Hi guys, so I'm just trying to fit these videos in. I just wanted to go over this one idea or a couple of ideas. So if you were in a relationship with a narcissist, especially a covert narcissist or a sociopath, you might have gotten out of the relationship and you are in shock because you had no idea. You might have had no idea that that's what you were with. And a lot of times what happens is you have to do research to figure out that you were actually with somebody who had narcissistic personality disorder. You might have known that there was something off about them, but you didn't really understand what you were dealing with. And then you might have found out that they had a double life, and normal people don't have double lives. And, they had a hidden porn addiction, or they had a hidden sex life, or they were having sex with other people. They were pathologically cheating. They were going to massage parlors. They were going on Craigslist Backpage or whatever, all these different things. So that may have been, the case that you found that out. And if they're really high level, they may have been very sneaky, very secretive, very covert about this double life. So when you figure it out, you're like, what the heck? And that's, really common. If you were with a female narcissist, they're going to be doing a lot of the same stuff. They were probably cheating on you, lying to you, gaslighting, manipulating. They may have used stonewalling, silent treatment, passive aggressive behaviors. They may have been doing a smear campaign behind your back. You had no idea. You may have been with someone. So in my case, I was very respectful about the person I was with behind this person's back. I had this person on a pedestal. All my friends, family, they know I never talked bad about this person. In fact, I defended this person. But I believe that probably there was a smear campaign going on behind my back, definitely with his affair partner, probably with his family. And I had no idea. I thought he treated me with the same level of kindness and respect that I did him behind his back. But anyway, when you come to terms with this, you're going to be like, what the heck? You had no idea what was happening. And if you're a normal person, especially if you tend to be sort of codependent, or if you tend to be somebody who's very empathetic, or you're an empath, you're a highly sensitive person, you might personalize this. You might be like, what did I do? Why couldn't I, what did I do to make this person do this to me? Or, what's wrong with me? And of course, a narcissist they have a massive fear of abandonment. So because of their own insecurities and deep-rooted low self-esteem and fear of abandonment, they typically tend to abandon other people and discard them and try to make them feel like absolute garbage. So if you are somebody who's very sensitive, you might internalize this. You might take this really personally. And I want to encourage you to not do that, because here's the reality. This person never loved you. They never loved their ex-girlfriend or boyfriend or the one before that. They are incapable. They do not love their friends. They do not connect, not in a normal way. They do not bond. So that's part of their defense mechanism. They treat people like objects. You are a single serving packet. You are interchangeable and disposable. That is how they treat everyone. The only people that they may slightly treat differently is like their family, if there's a financial benefit to it, or out of obligation, right? But and even then, it's a tenuous connection. Do they really love their family? It's highly suspect. They certainly don't even love their own children. They don't bond with their own children. They do not bond with their stepchildren that they spent a decade with. These people do not bond. They are incapable of that bond, that connection that normal, neurotypical, healthy people are capable of. So you just need to know that their inability to love you has literally nothing to do with your lovability. Just nothing. It has nothing to do with you. They didn't bond with the ex-girlfriend or the girlfriend before that. They're not bonding with the affair partner. They're not bonding with the affair partner's children. The only thing that they're doing is they're putting on a performance. These are first-rate actors. They are Academy Award-winning actors. They're putting on a performance of perfection. They're doing that for the currency that they operate in. The currency that narcissists and sociopaths operate in is the currency of validation and approval. They do not understand real love. They do not understand that love requires reciprocity, authenticity, honesty, trust, revealing themselves, talking about their feelings. They just don't understand any of that currency, right? So their currency that they're operating on is one of validation and approval. And as long as that person is giving them validation and approval, then they're eating it up. And there's the book out there called Leave a Cheater, Gain a Life. And she talks about that validation and approval is, she calls it kibbles. And that has nothing to do with any sort of real lasting love or affection or a true relationship. That's not what narcissists are getting into. And, with their affair partner or their new source of supply, do not be jealous, man. I mean, I feel sorry for for the one that I was with. I actually feel sorry for his new source of supply. She has no idea what she's getting into. I spoke with the narcissist's ex sources of supply, and it's the same pattern, Groundhog Day, over and over and over again. So you are not, you're the lucky one. If you got away from these people, if they discarded you or you discarded them and you got out of this relationship, you are the lucky one, because you get this chance right now to never get into a relationship with another pathologically disordered individual again. But in order to not do that, it is vitally important that you take some time off from dating and you do some healing. And, I highly recommend EMDR therapy. I highly recommend reading the book, Leave a Cheater, Gain a Life. Definitely, that's the first one I read to understand about narcissism. Also, The Human Magnet Syndrome by Ross Rosenberg. That is an excellent book. It talks about why empaths and codependents are attracted to narcissists. And it's like the pathological giver is attracted to the pathological taker, and they have this dysfunctional dance. So really important that you heal your boundaries, your lack of boundaries. Quite often, if you were in a relationship with a narcissist, you probably had some trauma from childhood. You probably have some boundary issues. You probably don't value yourself or love yourself enough to, set healthy boundaries for yourself. You might be somebody who is like, used to being neglected or abused. So you might be okay accepting crumbs. That is all the narcissist is available for, is offering crumbs. And again, remember, they have this pattern: idealization, devaluation, and discard. So in the idealization phase, you may feel like you're getting a lot more than crumbs. You will be getting more than crumbs. You're getting love bombed, right? That's what happens with the new sources of supply. But then there's this devaluation, and it can be slow and subtle over time. And really, realistically, you might not even know that that's happening. It's like a frog being boiled in water. If they're the nonverbal type, a lot of their character assassination might be actually happening in their head. But it's a cold disdain, smugness, superiority, and then the discard. And the discard can come very brutally, where you had no idea what just happened, right? A light switch went off. But of course, during the discard, when that's happening to you, that means they've already been grooming their new source of supply for a long time. They've already been cheating on you. They're like pedophiles in that they groom, supply sources. They typically have multiple supply sources that they're grooming at the same time. If they are the covert narcissist, they're not very good at this because they're not typically very interesting or charismatic or charming. Their charm is much more subtle and covert, right? So it's harder for them to groom. So they may not have as many sources of supply as more like the overt narcissist that's, very attractive and very charming and overt. But same pattern: idealization, devaluation, discard. It's going to happen with the new sources supply. Again, with the coverts, it can be a long haul. It can be, they can actually be in relationships for 10, 15, 20 years where the other person has no freaking idea. They may know that there's something weird and off about this person, but they don't really know what they're dealing with. So just know that their inability to bond with you in a normal, neurotypical, healthy fashion has nothing to do with you. They're not bonding with the new source of supply or that person's children or their own children or the old sources. They just don't bond. Look at their relationships. Look at their friendships. How are they? You'll notice that most narcissists don't really have real deep friendships. They may have some surface level friends, some shallow, sort of real shallow friendships, but in general, these people are not, they're not about stick-to-itiveness. They don't have that tenacity or strength to, work through difficulties in relationships. They definitely don't. They don't even get it. So everything with them is like a shallow surface kibbles. So remember, they're always operating under validation and approval. They're like little puppy dogs in that way. And that's not real. That's not lasting. It's just very shallow. Everything about them is shallow. It's this performance. You're dealing with a mask, you're dealing with the shell. So that thing that you're with, sorry, but that's kind of how I look at it. They're not capable of love. So this has nothing to do with you other than perhaps you not really valuing yourself enough to avoid toxic people, and maybe you settled for crumbs. And again, that can be over time. It can be very, very slow and subtle and over time, but you don't need to settle. You are worthy of love. You're worthy of respect. And, it's important to find somebody who's able to reciprocate that respect, love, and attention, and, who's willing to put in as much into a relationship as you are. And narcissists, it's not, they're not capable. So it has nothing to do with your lovability, your worth, or your worthiness. So I hope this helps you guys, and I hope you have a really good day. Bye-bye.